is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning April 24th, 2023. And on Monday, we have the moon in Gemini. Yes, void, however, and just past Venus, the planet of love and affection in Gemini as well. So on Monday, we're feeling chatty, communicative, and that is the key word for Monday is communications. However, communications could get a little ornery. Why? Because the depositor of Venus, but especially the moon, is Mercury with Uranus, and that will connect with Uranus pretty much all week. And Uranus is the planet of the unexpected, the unique, and the unpredictable. And it is in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus can be rather aggressive, a little bit at times of a bully, but also Taurus is connected with what? It's the second house of speech. So we're really going to have to watch this week, and especially on Monday, for unexpected conflicts or our conversations that could be a little bit strange or unusual. Or there could be some discord. So take a hint also from Taurus. It's about meditation and keeping the peace, because that's another quality, a positive quality of Taurus is about peacefulness, calmness, and so on. And also to heighten that sense of a bit of tension and conflict in the air, we have both the North Node and South Node in Taurus and Scorpio conjunct and oppose the Sun in Taurus. So yes, there could be a little bit of some touchiness, some defensiveness, little bit of peevishness, and oversensitivity on Monday. So watch out for all forms of confusion and discord Monday. So if you can just chat up a storm, keep it light and airy, kind of keep your axe to the grindstone, and really be busy on Monday, that's the focus on a more positive light. And yes, Mars, the planet of action, is in Cancer still. So we are feeling very protective about home and family and so on. And it is applying a square off with Jupiter. So in the next week or so, we're going to have the impetus to spend. So who knows? We could soon be receiving some good financial news. But nonetheless, as Mars, especially later on the week, gets closer to that square off with lucky, fortunate, prosperous Jupiter, this is the time we want to keep an eye on all our finances and to save and take a hint from Cancer, security-minded Cancer, and save for a rainy day and not to spend overly much this week, especially at week's end. So let's zip ahead to the next day, which is Tuesday. Yes, and that is the 25th, and now the moon is in protective Cancer as well as Mars, and applying a conjunction by Wednesday to Mars, the planet of action. So with the moon there, that's great because it's in our own. We have that sense of protectiveness, warmth. We want to nurture each other, especially with Mars there. It's all about home, family, our security. It could also be about renovations, repairs, real estate, you name it, even anything that makes us feel secure, including what? Food or interests about food, especially because we have this connection, especially with Mercury, the communicator, even retrograde with Uranus. So there could be a lot of discussions about culinary anything, all forms of food or uh, anything of the like, good or possibly not so good, and so on and so forth. So look for that on Tuesday. And what else is Taurus and Cancer? Cancer is about security. Taurus is in some way also about security connected with the second house of finance. So all of this week, and especially on Tuesday and Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of talk about security, about our what? Our money, finances. This may be personally, this may be publicly, yes, connected with banking institutions or connected with investments, the stock market, anything and everything connected with money. And there could be, especially again, all this week, some kind of unexpected developments because Mercury is meet up with the unexpected planet of Uranus. There could be some developments in the air and the area of monetary anything that could be connected with the powers that be and our money personally. So Tuesday, Wednesday, this is the time to safeguard all our valuables and our assets because of that connection with retrograde Mercury and Uranus. So expect the unexpected on Tuesday. So let's zip ahead another day, and now we are in the midweek with the moon still in Cancer. Yes, indeed, just past Mars. However, because of its closer connection with Mars, this is also a little bit of a touchy aspect here because Cancer is also very sensitive, kind of like the nodes here. It's a sign of, well, of sensitivity. It's a water sign. And so we may be feeling even slightly more defensive on Wednesday about our sense of protectiveness. And that could be with our beliefs, or perhaps we're feeling a little insecure on Wednesday. But with the moon and Mars, it gives us the energy to really go after what we want. We want to go after what makes us feel secure. We want to kind of defend our turf on Wednesday. So this is a time that we also must feel, yes, sensitive, warm, nurturing, which are all wonderful traits about Cancer, but we don't want to go overboard with regards to drama or our sense of security as well on Wednesday. So we want to project the positive traits of Cancer and the fourth house, home and family, all of that. But we don't want to be too combative or defensive with touchy Cancer as well on Wednesday. Venus, the planet of love and affection, is still in very chatty Gemini. So this kind of lends a little bit of air and some detachment to this more emotional Moon Mars conjunction on Wednesday. Yes, but keep in mind we have the Taurus stellium, and with retrograde Mercury with Uranus all week, we will have to be cautious of conflicts as well. So both Monday and Tuesday, and especially with the moon applying the square off with Jupiter, a lucky Jupiter as well, that adds to the air of tension on Wednesday. So for the first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're just going to have to pull back a little bit and think more along the lines of focusing on our goals and look at the more positive traits of the planets like Cancer and our warmth and kindness, and Taurus, it's about keeping the peace instead of bullying and conflict. And if we can do that for the first few days of this week, then that will surely benefit us greatly. But with the moon there with touchy Mars in Cancer and squaring off happy-go-lucky Jupiter, there may be some conflicts with what? What does Jupiter represent? Jupiter is connected with the ninth house, Sagittarius, the law, anything to do with courts, education, foreign, anything, languages, and what? What is Jupiter about? It's about our philosophy. It's about our beliefs. So all of these are going to come under fire or come under the eyeglass, so to speak, on Wednesday. So be cautious in all these areas, and it's not too good to sign any contracts right now. If you can hold off and just kind of temper some of those negotiations with regards to the areas aforementioned with Jupiter, then everything will go along swimmingly or much smoother. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is on Wednesday. Yes, indeed. So we're going to look ahead to Wednesday, forward one day here. And we are now Thursday, the 27th. Yes, and now the moon is in warm-hearted Leo. Very dramatic, very expressive sign of Leo. So after the first few days of this week, where there have been a little bit of some conflicts, some delays, and some frustrations with the moon in Leo, although there is a bit of a T-square with the north node and the south node in the fixed signs, which could be a little bit touchy or frustrating also on Thursday. Generally, the moon in Leo is a fire sign and more positive. It kind of lends an upbeat atmosphere on Thursday, especially since the moon within the next day and a half is going to apply a sweet trine to Jupiter. So there also is a square off with the moon in fixed dramatic Leo with the north node and south node, yes, and sun in Taurus. So although we're feeling a little bit more energetic with that fire moon in Leo on Thursday, we're also feeling kind of fixed because keep in mind now, there is also up, take a look here, a grand cross. Oh, yes, between the north node, the sun in Taurus, the south node with Scorpio, and yes, 0 degrees, still critical, powerhouse, Pluto at Aquarius, and now early moon in Leo. So this is forming a complete fixed grand cross. So yes, we're feeling positive. Yes, we have a flair for our creativity. We want to show off a little bit. And hey, that's all good. But we now have this cross, grand cross in the fixed signs. So it's about what? It's about our beliefs, because now we're involving powerhouse Pluto. And yes, on Thursday, because Pluto is also dealing with what? It's the powers that be. Yes. And that could be government. It could be even personally dealing with managers, management, or corporations, people also that are in positions of power. There could be issues both publicly and personally, authorities of all kinds. So on Thursday, this is the time, yes, you want to stick up for what you believe in and your philosophies, your ideals, and so on and so forth. It's a wonderful day for creativity. But because of the Taurus connection and emphasis and the moon in Leo, North Node and South Node providing a little bit of oversensitivity, and the Pluto powerhouse in Aquarius now, we want to express what we think, but we are finding that that could create conflict. It's great that we have opinions and ideals, but it's these opinions that may get in our way a little bit. So if you can tone it down on Thursday, this will be great. And that will also occur early on Thursday, as then the mood will apply square offs to Mercury and Uranus, although there will not be the complete grand cross as on Thursday. So just pull back a little bit on Thursday about expressing your opinions. Don't get into any group conflicts because we have this group connection, especially with the moon in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius. So there could be, to some degree, some group conflicts, a lot of group socialization, and this is where there could be some heated discussions, and especially what regarding what our humanity, because now we are involving Pluto, and even at 0 degrees of critical Uranus connection there with Uranus, Aquarius, I should say Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees, and Uranus is the depositor. uh, that's all about what? It's about the collective. It's about the public. It's about, yes, our unity and our humanity. So look to Thursday as one that could be very conflicting. Don't get wrapped up with tit for tat and the he said, she said on Thursday. If you can do that, that will quelch some of the tension. If you can just be very mindful of the group connections and some of the express need to express our opinions, tone it down a little bit. Thursday will be much more positive. And let's look ahead finally, officially, to the weekend on the 28th. Yes, indeed. Now the moon is further along in the sign of Leo, which, by the way, on a positive note, is very creative. So this is a great time to express your originality, anything to do with the arts, or anything to do with expressing your confidence and drama in a very more productive, positive style. Your sense of fashion, your sense of anything creativity oriented, you name it, writing. This is the great day to show off your talents with the moon in Leo. And there is a sweet sextile with chatty Venus in Gemini. Yes, so we are feeling that we really want to communicate our individuality. Yes, indeed. And we've got this Taurus stellium still. There's the square off with Mercury and Uranus with the moon. So this is the time, because Mercury is retrograde. Watch those opinions, a little bit of the bullying, and we will be okay. And of course, Saturn is still in Pisces, and it's still kind of melancholy here. We've got this connection with uh, uh, Neptune in Pisces. So this is good because it's allowing us a little touch of compassion here, especially since there is a connection with Mars now in Cancer, and Mars is moving closer to the trine with Neptune. Yes, so that's kind of giving us more of a sense of sensitivity compassion, a little more of a sense of compassion to suffering and those that are in need of our kindness and so on, especially with Saturn in Pisces as well. So, as we move towards this sensitive connection with Neptune in Pisces with Mars in Cancer, there may be much in the way of discussion about anything medical, about healing, and that is wonderful. And also because what? Mars, the planet of action in Cancer, is making a sweet sextile with retrograde Mercury and Uranus. So that's kind of a healing balm, so to speak, you could say, on Friday from somewhat of a tension oriented week this week. Yes. So that's very productive. So towards week's end, we are feeling more focused. Yes, there may be a little bit of tension in the air, but at least with Mars in Cancer and also applying that trine to Neptune in Pisces, we are feeling a little bit like maybe, yes, we've been a little bit oversensitive, overreactive, but equally with this connection and moving forward to more towards the trine with Neptune in Pisces next week, we may feel like whatever we say now, we could regret later, but at least with Mars moving or approaching the trine to Neptune and sextiling Uranus and Mercury, it's a very creative influence, especially with the moon in Leo, but it's also one where it will provide us some insight, and maybe that will show us that if there's tension in the air, then that's where we have to calm things down a little bit with that connection with Mars and Neptune, and positive also with Mercury and Uranus. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is Saturday, and that is the 29th, heading now towards the last couple days of the month. And the moon is further along in the sign of Leo. Yes, indeed. And just past, oh yes, just past the sextile with Venus in Gemini. So we are feeling a little bit more affectionate, like we want to open up on Saturday. And of course, all this week with Venus, the love planet in Gemini. So that's where earlier in the week there could be some additional tensions because Venus is in Gemini, and with the connection with retrograde Mercury and Uranus, that's where the areas of some concern could be. But with even a loose sextile with the moon in Leo and Venus in Gemini, at least on Saturday over the weekend, that kind of helps us to really project our love and our warmth towards each other, especially with the moon in warm-hearted Leo. So Saturday kind of ends at towards the week end, literally on a more positive note. Yes, yes, indeed. And also, one real positive note here is what? That sweet trine with lucky Jupiter to the moon in Leo. So comes late Friday, but especially Saturday. Now we're back in business after a bit of a hardship, somewhat of a week on Saturday with the moon making a sweet trine to Jupiter. Now we can speak of all those wonderful ninth house, first house, because Jupiter is in Aries, connections on a much more happier, positive note. Anything connected with law, anything connected with the powers that be, and also connected with foreign anything, travel, long distance travel. Wow. Saturday with the moon in Leo and Aries Jupiter is bringing back a little bit of that good fortune and that good feeling energy after a bit of an uncertain week. Yes, indeed. So let's look ahead to the final day, which is Sunday, and that is the 30th, April 30th, the final day of the week and the final day of the month. And now the moon is in very analytical Virgo. Yeah, so we're feeling on Sunday after a better day from Saturday a little bit more skeptical because the moon in Virgo is great for diet and exercise. So plan on the itinerary on Sunday. A good time for nutrition, kind of watchful of our health, and so on and so forth, especially with the connection with the moon in Virgo and Saturn in Pisces, which is connected with the 12th house. So, yes, we are feeling rather analytical, but yes, we have to be watchful of being kind of picky and a little overcritical, especially because of this opposition with Saturn in Pisces. So, we're going to be very watchful of our health, but we don't want to be overly critical or overly fussy. And so everything we look at on Saturday, we are definitely going to be looking through a magnifying glass, picking apart and dissecting, disseminating all the details on Sunday, whether that's with love, family, personally, or even our work, which is very good, by the way, with the sign of Virgo. If you have to be very particular in your work. So that's a good positive trait with the sign of Virgo. And by the way, now there is a sweet trine with the North Node and the Sun, Mercury on Sunday in the sign of Taurus. Yes, very grounded, very earth. So where there was a little bit of some positive feeling and insight on Saturday, on Sunday, we're feeling more grounded, more sensible, and practical. So this is good because if there was some kind of drama early on in the week, maybe even into midweek, with this very grounded moon in Virgo, it kind of gives us a little bit of some insight about our goals and our ambitions, and just the way that we interact with each other on Sunday is going to be very grounded. It's going to be about our sensitivities, yes, but more about our sensibilities. What is the right thing to do? What is the practical approach? And that's about Taurus and about Virgo. Let's just sit down and talk everything through. And what else is it good for? Because both the moon in Virgo and Taurus are earth signs. So there's a lot of talk, not just about the future and our practical approach, but it's very good for money. It's very good for cultivation. And you could take that literally because on Sunday it's very good for planting and anything with nature. That's about earth here. Earth, Taurus, earth, Virgo. So we're very close to nature, kind of grounded, maybe meditative on Sunday. And this is all too positive. Even with a depositor of retrograde Mercury with the Sun in Taurus, we are just feeling back to nature, very grounded. We want the practical approach, and with a little bit of analyzation doesn't hurt. Yes, we want organization, we want order, but it's also very good about taking care of ourselves mentally with this Pisces 12th house connection. physically, with nutrition, health, you name it, with Virgo. And especially since the moon is applying a sextile to the action planet Mars in sensitive Cancer. It's the second house with the sixth house, kind of a good day for cooking or food and having good, intelligent Virgo conversations. And yes, there's a little bit of a square off now from Neptune to Venus, the planet of love. So, yes, in the air, starting over the weekend, then going into spilling over into the following week. Yes, there's going to be a veil of secrecy in the air. What information is being kept from us? Are we being open and honest to our loved ones? Or what do we need to investigate? To what? Take a hint from Virgo, to research. And that's what Sunday is about. Although it's a much more kind of like Saturday again, it's much more of an upbeat day. But yes, going into the following week, there's going to be some information that we need to discover. And with the moon there starting off on Sunday and then into next week, that's what the start of next week is going to be about. What are the secrets that are being kept? What do we need to look into? But while we're looking into those secrets of the unknown, we're going to be awfully chatty with Venus in chatty Gemini. But nonetheless, the week ends on a very grounded, intelligent, and more positive, energetic note. So until next week's weekly celestial forecast, many, many blessings.